Greetings, Neuse Little Pod listeners. This is your host, Matt Gore, reminding you to please like, follow, subscribe, and share the podcast on your available podcast apps such as Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, iHeartRadio, and any other podcast app you can think of. Share our episodes on Facebook and let us know what you think with a comment or review. Now, please enjoy the show. Good evening and welcome to Neuse Little Podcast. This is an audio program talking about the backstage antics and stories of running a small-town community theater on the banks of the Neuse River located in Smithfield, North Carolina. We lovingly refer to the old girl as the Hut. We hope you enjoy. Welcome to Neuse Little Podcast. We have an extra special show for you. We are featuring a show that is not in the NLT season. It is from an outside theater. It is the show Ivories by Riley Elton McCarthy, presented by the Gilbert Theater. And we have the cast and crew here with us today, but we will introduce them in just 1 second. First, some business. Angel Street is in rehearsals. It is the last 2 weekends in May. Please call and make a reservation at 919-934-1873 and reserve your ticket for this Victorian thriller. The cast is working hard. The set's being built. You know the drill. It's going to be our season finale of our 49th season, so come on out and see it. Also, we have merch. We have hoodies. We have beanies. We have hats. We have overpriced keychains. No, I'm just kidding. They're actually very reasonably priced. We have pens. And if you want to come and see a show, please stop by that merch table. If you want that official NLT merch, you got to come see Angel Street and talk to the lady or man at the merch table. Okay. Hallelujah Girls up at BLT is going to be on May 10th, 11th, and 12th. And the following week on the 17th, 18th, and 19th. And also, Happy Days at CST will be going up on April 26th, 27th, and 28th. That's only 1 weekend for CST, Happy Days the musical. So please go down and support local theater. Okay, really quickly, some of you have been wondering, and I haven't done this in the past, but I'm not directing next season, so I don't feel sheepish at all on announcing the directors for our 50th season. It's finally been approved. It's going to be on the pamphlets, and we have 2 new directors that are joining us. Really quick rundown of our season. We're doing Wizard of Oz for our first show, and that's going to be at JCC, and that's going to be directed by Sean Braswell. And our next show, Arsenic and Old Lace, will be directed by Kathy Nixon. She is not a newcomer to NLT, but she is a first-time director here, and we're really happy to have her along. Then we have, heading into February, for our third show of the 50th season, that's The Foreigner by Larry Shue, and that will be directed by Tony Pender. And then our fourth show after that is Steel Magnolias, sorry. Steel Magnolias, and that will be directed by Stephanie Viren. And our final show of the season, Sex Please We're 60, will be directed by newcomer Greg Hill. Again, he's not a newcomer. He's been around here for many years. You've seen him on stage. He's worked backstage, but he is a first-time director. So, break a leg to all, and we will see you in the 50th season. But right now, let's focus on Ivories. Okay, like I said, this is the Gilbert Theater out of Fayetteville, North Carolina. I've seen many shows there, and I have actually directed a few shows there. And I really like them as an organization. I think they're a little diamond in the rough that does adult theater. When I say adult theater, I mean more mature plays that maybe are off the beaten path, that aren't the popular musical or the popular play or the Odd Couple or anything else that's been done millions of times before. So I respect them for that. And I have here with me their artistic director as well as the co-director of Ivories, Larry Carisle. Thank you for being here, sir.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
All right. Sitting next to him.
It's nice to be back.
Yes. You have been back after a long absence on the show.
Well, you had to work out that whole censorship thing with all the swearing.
Right. We had to pay the lawyers off.
Yeah, no, there was time that needed to be taken.
So right next to him, we have, coming back on the podcast, is my brother Justin. He is in this play. Justin Gore, thanks for coming down.
Hi, thank you for having me.
All right, and then next to him is Dan Adams. This is the first time on the podcast. Thank you for joining us, Dan. He is also, what's your character's name, I'm sorry?
Gwyn.
All right, and Justin, what's your character's name?
Beckham.
Beckham. That's his first name?
Yeah.
Okay.
As far as
his
his only name.
It's like Prince.
Yeah.
Okay. And then, sitting right across the table from me is Michelle Rutherford. And your character's name is?
Sloan.
All right. Thank you for joining me. Let's talk about the play. All right, Larry, give me a synopsis of Ivories. Because I really don't know what it's about.
Oh, I have no idea. No. It is it's hard to explain, but it is a queer horror story about generational trauma and a big, creepy house haunted by a dust monster and maybe a dead grandma and maybe a dead sister and
maybe Big Bird.
Maybe, yeah.
Maybe.
And this is right off the back of the Concord theatrical script. You can just read this.
Oh yeah, no, it's written right on the back.
Maybe a bird, might be a dead sister. I don't know. We'll see. Okay, give me a little bit more, Jeff. Give me. I don't want to reveal any spoilers, but I would like to. Anybody chime in?
So the character of Sloan has had a recent death in the family and is expecting another, as their grandmother is very sick. And so they are at the grandmother's house getting ready for the inevitable demise, taking care of all the things you would take care of. And they brought their spouse over to help them through it. And I am the friend that is brought there because I can help with the realtor aspect of taking care of the house and the will and that type of stuff. And things aren't good. Things aren't good, but
He means within the show, not actually just.
yeah.
The show is going quite well, I would say.
And my character Beckham has maybe an ulterior motive. Don't know. We'll find out.
Maybe.
And it should be mentioned that the character of Sloan is a well-renowned queer playwright.
In the universe of the play.
In the
Okay.
show
Yes.
itself. Yeah.
And
right.
yes, that's right. They are writing a play while going through all this fun trauma.
Well, let's talk about that. Your character seems to be going through a lot, Michelle. So let's talk about a little bit about Sloan.
Okay.
What? So she's a playwright. What kind of plays does she write? Does she?
That's a great question.
You got to help me out a little bit
She
here.
probably writes some horror plays. She was working on a romantic drama, a queer romantic drama, and might want to step out into other realms of playwriting throughout the course of the show.
So the play leans into well-known horror tropes and sort
Yeah.
of subverts them. So like they openly reference movies that they are taking inspiration from. So like there's a line in there that talks about Hereditary. Yeah, a lot of this is inspired by Hereditary.
Someone compares Sloan to Stephen King.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of Stephen King. You can feel a lot of Stephen King style type
Evil
references.
Dead.
Yes, Evil
Yeah.
Dead. One of the things is that I've been in contact with Riley for over a year now.
The playwright.
Yes, the playwright. Sorry, and they this play has gone through, I want to say something like 70 revisions
71.
and been performed a whole bunch of times. And pretty much every time it's been performed, as far as my understanding, small things have changed and things have had to shift based, on limitations of the space, limitations of the cast, all that kind of thing. And so a lot of stuff that when I originally read the piece and was like, oh yeah, we should do this, some of it's not in there now. So
Yeah.
Well, that's interesting.
Yeah, so we've had to kind of we've definitely put the Gilbert stamp on it, which I hope Riley appreciates, because Riley actually got their start at the Gilbert. They were in a production of Secret Garden back in 2016, I believe, and they were in the last production of It's a Wonderful Life that we did before they went off to college in Manhattan. And now this particular show, Ivories, has been performed in Copenhagen. It's been performed in Amsterdam. I'm pretty sure it's been performed in London. They're getting ready to take it to Scotland, I believe, and Ireland. They've taken it lots of places, as well as off-Broadway in New York, and I think a small place in New Jersey. It's been performed at Yale, like at their theater department. So, like, Riley's pedigree is fairly impressive, especially for the fact that they are, I'm not sure exactly how old they are, but they are not over 28. So this is a young person, and to have already had this much success with such a niche kind of genre.
Stage horror.
Exactly, and that was another reason that we wanted to do it, was it fit into my plan for our 30th season, which was 4 shows from the Gilbert's past, and then 1 show that's never been done there. And I felt like this was a really good fit for that. And also, you never see horror on stage. It's certainly not like this. And so I thought it would be interesting and fun, and it would give us a chance to try and do some new things, maybe.
Yeah.
Well, horror is hard to do because it's very talky a lot of times on the stage.
Yes, and it should be pointed out that so far in our runtime of rehearsal, we're hitting like 90 minutes.
I love those 90-minute shows.
Yep.
I do too.
Yep.
And we're not even done yet, so.
Well, you guys are heading into Tech Week, right?
Here we are.
Yes.
And we should mention the co-director is Vicky
Lloyd.
And they are not here right now, but what's it been like? I know Vicky a little bit. They're the assistant, the technical director at the Gilbert. And what's it like been working with them for this play?
I love Vicky. She is my work wife. We joke about that all the time. I wouldn't want to put any shows up without her, but this one especially. Riley is a trans playwright, and Vicky is a trans woman, and I wanted to make sure that, I didn't do anything or say anything stupid, which is always,
Always a possibility.
It's always a problem.
Yeah,
Yes. Anybody that knows me knows that like 80% of what I say is just stupid. And also Vicky loves horror. Like she's all about it. So the fact that that's what kind of show this is, and that she has insight into characters and just the emotionality of it. It's been great. I think Vicky brings a lot to the table, both as a director and as my tech director. If you've ever seen a show at the Gilbert, you know what Vicky can do, and she's actually capable of way more than that.
Yeah, absolutely. Just in case I forget, I'm going to say it again at the end, but Ivories goes up Friday, April 26th, and continues through 3 weekends at the Gilbert. So that's 4 shows, 3, no matinee?
There are no Saturday matinees.
Gotcha. Okay. So 3 shows per weekend times 3. So you have 9 chances to go see Ivories by Riley Elton McCarthy. So let's talk about the rehearsal process a little bit. I heard some feedback from Justin's my brother, so we talk every once in a while. But he says it's been a very smooth process. Dan, we haven't heard from you a lot. You're sitting over there in the corner.
Yeah,
What's the
hiding.
rehearsal process been like for Ivories from your perspective?
There's been a lot more of. Well, let me just preface with this. At the Gilbert, going through straight plays, there are a lot of just running the show, and then tweaking something, taking notes to heart, running it again the next day. And that seems to be the go-to process for straight plays specifically. We've done a lot of stopping and working single bits. There's some stage combat. There are some really fast-paced sequences. There are some tech-heavy sequences where we have really stopped and focused on one piece at a time. And I really enjoyed that because it lets us get more confident with those sequences.
And we're lucky. There's 3 of us.
Yeah.
We can get deep into those.
Yes.
Yeah. So Michelle, I saw you in Assassins. Remind me your character's name. I'm sorry.
Giuseppe Zangara.
Yes. You had the stomach problems,
Yes,
correct?
Yes.
I'm
glad that those are finally gone.
As a man who suffers real life stomach problems, the whole time you were there, I was just
Yes.
like, oh my God. Oh no. You got diverticulitis, don't you?
I take a pot shot at the president for that.
Yeah.
Make me mad enough
Chronic
to shoot
pain is
somebody.
A bitch.
Who?
Chronic pain.
Oh yes,
Yeah.
yeah. That'll make you do some stuff.
Oh yeah.
But so going into this play, what made you want to do this play? Did somebody approach you about it? Did you just read about it? How did it happen?
No, I was interested in the horror aspect of it.
So we're all horror fans here.
Yeah.
Well,
What? Dan is it?
Dan is not.
Dan, you're not a horror fan?
Dan,
Boo!
yeah.
Boo on you, sir.
All right, fair enough.
Boo this man.
Ooh, this man.
Dan has not ventured far into the genre. This play is making me very interested in the genre that I really haven't been in the past. So it's definitely interesting learning the show and learning the tropes through the show. And yeah, it's just getting me really interested in it.
How old are you, Dan?
26.
I've seen you in a couple shows. Some of which I've liked. I'm just kidding. No. No.
Come on, man. What are you trying to say?
No, you're very no. What I'm trying to say, in reality, all jokes aside, is that your acting skills are far ahead of your age.
Yes.
I think you're a way more mature actor than you might look to somebody on a first glance.
Thank you.
So, and Justin is the opposite, where he looks really old and he needs a lot of help. So let's talk about. No, I'm just kidding. Getting back to the rehearsal process, the actual. What's been the hardest part? I always like to ask that. What's the biggest challenge in mounting this play? It seems like you guys are all friends and kind of like a unit here.
Yes, actors. What has been the hardest part?
I have an actual.
I think it's a word that starts with L and it rhymes with mines.
Okay, so
How does he know?
my character has something really unique that I've never had in a play before. Every incredibly important event in the show is on a page turn in my script. And I'm not exaggerating.
No, he's not. He's actually true.
He's
That's actually
not good
true.
at turning pages.
And
Yes, he
I
needs help.
can't turn a page fast enough. So I had to get the book out of my hands before I threw the thing across the room because, I'm supposed to hit someone in the face. I would know that if I could turn the page. And it has been a nightmare because I actually messaged the playwright and said, can you give me like 12 tabs and reprint this, please?
What is? Are they? They're not
There
your
are they.
secretary. They're not your secretary. Come on, you're the actor.
They thought
Yeah.
it was very funny and did not do it.
Did they write it for somebody and just wanted to mess that actor up or something?
They wrote it for someone with no fingers.
I can't describe how this is not a joke and that this has actually caused me anger issues throughout the rehearsal process.
Your fist clenching and you getting 1 millimeter away from the mic didn't cue me into that at all.
It's the worst. I wish I had the script here so I could show you after the podcast.
I believe you. Old fingerless Joe, we got to write it for him. You know, he has no fingers, but man, he has pathos.
That's right. He is a hell of an actor.
Larry knows.
No fingers.
Larry
but
has seen me stand up there and he goes, you can do it, buddy.
You can turn that
he's-
page.
He's. I'm like, get it. Get it.
Practice.
Turn that page. Get it.
Okay, so here's something I wanted to ask before I forget. So you're co-directing this with Vicky. Are you good cop, bad cop?
No. Well, I don't. Well, I don't.
Are they
shit.
good cop, bad
Shit,
cop?
I don't know. Are we?
No, they're both
We're both
pretty-
bad.
they're
We're both bad cops.
Both
No,
bad
it's
cop,
like
both
green
even
cop, blue cop. Like they both bring different,
was gonna
knows
say-
different things.
Okay, so those were
Angry
just two.
cop,
No,
grumpy
just two
cop.
random
Just two
colors.
things,
Like
okay.
yeah, just
I would say
just,
it's maybe
you're-
like grumpy cop.
no.
And-
Green cop and depressed cop.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
wow.
so new cop and depressed
Yeah.
and clinically depressed cop. Okay.
Yes.
That gotcha.
To all of those.
Gotchas.
But I mean, because Vicky and I we pay attention to different things.
Yeah.
She's real focused in on technical stuff, obviously, and I'm real focused in on actory business.
Yeah, you sell yourself short. You're
Yeah.
very good at what you do.
Oh, well, thank you. I'll
Well-
give you your money after.
No, the whole reason I even attached myself to Gilbert is because I met Larry. That's the only reason. Where it was just we had going back a while. It was right before COVID. Right before COVID, we were doing complete works of William Shakespeare, and I for reasons I went down south to Fayetteville to see if I could do that play, and I got a part in it. I loved working with Chris, Wesley, and Larry, it felt less like a rehearsal process and more like a writer's room or on a comedy or something like that. So I wanted more of that. And I liked a cut of Larry's jibs. So yeah, we got COVIDed. It happened, and we weren't able to do the show. The ultimate, I hung on for as long as I could.
I know, man. Me too.
2 years later, 2 years later, you finally did it with Dan in my role.
Whoops.
Not his brother, who was also actively acting at the Gilbert at the time.
Whoops.
You
Well, I
can't.
mean, you can call it. You can call it that.
All right, Larry, I gave you a compliment.
I
you
know. I'm
blustery
teasing.
bastard.
I'm teasing.
So
If you weren't any good, I wouldn't put you in things.
yeah,
True.
that's like kind of the bottom thing is like whenever I cast Justin in something where it's just like, if you weren't right for it, I wouldn't do this because when Justin's introduced to a new theater, I said this to the Gilbert, I said this to Benson Little Theater down there. This is my brother Justin. You're welcome, and I'm sorry.
He's not lying. He actually did that in front of the entire cast of Clue. He also added onto it. He said, I wouldn't put you through this if I didn't think he was worth it.
Right. Because it was a lot. But being Mr. Green was a lot, and it was a big role to cast your brother in, but I wouldn't have done it unless it wasn't the right move.
One of the absolute best experiences I've ever had and got me through an incredibly rough time. Very grateful for the role of Mr. Green.
Theater is therapy. Theater is therapy. But honestly, I'll say here right now that didn't factor into the decision. I think you know that also.
No, it didn't. You couldn't find anyone to be Mr. Green, and you were like, I know you have to drive an hour every
I'd
day.
asked your wife. I
did.
was like, Jessica, I need you to let Justin be Mr. Green.
And that's because we were going through an incredibly strict time, and it was a financial thing. So it was a like, this is a big deal.
Yeah. But it also, what I mean by you're welcome and I'm sorry is that he's an incredibly dedicated actor. He's going to know his shit. He's going to come in prepared, but he's also going to talk a lot about Spider-Man.
Oh my God, he talks so much. But don't get me
I
wrong.
am wearing a Spider-Man wedding ring.
Spider-Man's awesome. So
He is.
It's okay.
No more Spider-Man. Spider-Man has been covered on this podcast. Dan, what has been the biggest obstacle for you in this play?
So, not to ditto lines, but something specifically about the dialogue, there's a lot of overlap. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of, and the effect is it sounds more natural. It sounds more tense. People in a stressful situation like this would probably not wait until the other person's done talking to interject. And there's a ton of that, and it makes a lot of sense to be there. And I think that has just made the line process and the blocking process a little tougher. Mm-hmm.
So you're basically saying it kind of comes out like real people
yes.
talking, real
Yeah.
people having a conversation, and real people don't wait for the other person to finish.
Nope.
So,
And real people often don't speak in complete sentences.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And then there's a lot of that in the show as well.
Michelle, what has been your most biggest obstacle when it comes to this play? Don't be boring and say lines.
No, Michelle has been ahead of the lines compared
Yeah,
to us
she
the
cannot say
whole
that.
time, so she can't say that.
It's off limits.
But the lines.
No.
I think just being so new to theater, not new to it, but having taken a long hiatus and also being quite green in the theater has been, and that's why I've been like really focusing on bringing what I can to the table and being as prepared as I can because I'm working with such amazing people and I want all of us to shine.
Sloan is a pretentious playwright.
Yes.
Is there a playwright
A
on this
pretentious,
earth?
insecure playwright.
Yeah.
Sloan is incredibly insecure.
Yeah.
Yes.
Sloan wants validation.
Yes.
Yep.
And Sloan never got validation from any of their family
Oh,
and craves
no.
it so much that there are lines from them that make me roll my eyes so far back I go blind.
And I
it's
can hear
intentional.
him rolling his eyes every time I deliver these lines. It's fabulous.
Dan, describe your character in a couple of adjectives like they did.
Sure. Vulnerable.
Not you, Dan, the character you're playing.
Aw, come on. I want to say soft, but not in a bad way. Like he's
He's a cinnamon roll.
a cinnamon roll. That's a good way to put
That is
it.
a good way to put it.
Yeah.
Describe your character with a bit of food.
Describe your character with a pastry.
Yeah. But
Gwen is innocent.
yeah, Gwen is
Yeah,
innocent.
that's a good way to put
Gwen wants the best for everybody and is denied that.
Gwen,
And also, Gwen does not want to be alone.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
He's often the first one afraid.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, that's a good way to put it.
He's the first one afraid.
Yeah.
All right. So I assume the if I ask like why doesn't he want to be alone, that's going to be something in the play that you don't want to reveal.
It can be answered kind of broadly.
Yeah.
His past trauma that he's bringing to the table here. All three characters are dealing with their own trauma. Some of them are more active than others in addressing the trauma and working through it. But part of Gwyn's past is that he doesn't want to be alone because of a certain thing that happened to him in his past.
Gotcha. All right. So, anything else that you want to tell me about the play?
it's a lot of fun. All right, so it's hard to say a horror is a lot of fun, but this is a horror that it's like comfort food at some points because it leans into the tropes in a fun way, and we do have some good scares in it. Look, my brother's heard this spiel before, but horror is my favorite genre because it's the only genre that gets everything in it. You can have action, you can have comedy, you can have drama, you can have romance, you can have everything in horror. This play does get all that. I get to deliver jokes, which I'm good at. I get to be dramatic, which I've gotten better at. And a new thing is there's intimacy, which I haven't done on stage before, so that was a new challenge. And it's just it's a lot. You get everything in one little bite, and it's 90 minutes. It's good. It's nice and concise and fun. It's a haunted house.
It's a haunted house full of haunted people.
I'm noticing here, we've said it before that this is a 3-person play, but there's a grandma. That's interesting. Is there not someone playing the grandma?
There sure is.
Sort of.
Yes.
Like, that's like...
It's Chris, isn't he?
Yes.
It is.
You got Chris to play
Yeah,
the
we,
grandma.
yeah,
It's,
we
we-
put him in a wig. He looks
Yeah.
like a big bad wolf in
We
those
ripped
Bugs
off
Bunny
Mrs.
cartoons.
Doubtfire entirely.
He's just laying on the bed. And he's
You
like,
darn kid!
What big eyes you have! The better to see you with.
That's where all that intimacy comes in.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
No.
It is
So we have intimacy and scares in the same scene.
Yeah.
Actually,
That's how you do it.
Did you ever see
Actually,
Caligula?
actually,
Malcolm
yeah.
McDowell?
Only every weekend.
actually,
I wore out my tape, Larry. No, I've never seen Caligula.
actually, we do have intimacy and scares in the same scene.
Yes. The grandma is heavily alluded to, and you see who the grandma is. But whether or not the grandma makes an appearance on stage, I mean, you're going to have to come and see.
You definitely do hear the grandma.
Yes, the
We got a
grandmother.
voice actor to voice the grandma.
Yeah, the grandmother is making noise.
Okay. I'm really interested to see this play. I plan to come see it the second weekend. And
Excellent.
if you would like to see Ivories by Riley Elton McCarthy, please go to...
You can check our socials. That's Facebook and Instagram, or you can go to our website, www.gilberttheater.com, or you can call us if you're old-fashioned and you like telephones.
Yes.
910-9...
This current generation just loves talking to people.
I don't know our phone number. Hold on. It's 910.
He is the artistic director. of the
Shut
Gilbert-
up. Shut up. I know it. I just have lots of holes in my brain. Just settle down. 910-868-7168. I think.
It is 420.
It is. We are recording this on the most holy days of 420.
And
is
also, it is Dan's birthday today.
Happy
Yeah.
birthday, Dan.
Thank you.
It is also birthday of Adolf Hitler.
Yeah, thanks for that.
You're talking to a guy who I was born on the same day as Charles Manson. So, yeah, there you go.
He's a little bit cooler than Hitler.
I don't know if I'll leave it in, but we can have a little Assassins talk. I really enjoyed Assassins.
Yay.
I talked to the director, and sometimes I say more than I probably should. But I didn't think it was that bad. But she was confused when I said it.
Oh, no.
I said to her, I was just like, I really like it. I do. It's very interesting. But I think the musical format is maybe the worst possible way to present the story.
And she is a music director. So
No. Marie's not.
Marie's not a music director?
No.
No.
And what I mean is
I understand what you mean.
you do?
I do.
The story is interesting.
Especially
I
at
do.
the end.
Yeah.
Especially
Oh,
at the
yeah.
end.
The-
All right,
yes.
when you are talking to John Wilkes Booth,
Yes.
And then they all come in and start singing. I got I'm like, man, this was going good. Like, this is something
That was the
cool.
hardest song in the whole show.
And y'all did beautifully. But this person did not need it, and that is just one person's opinion.
Actually, it's two, because I feel the same way.
I would like to offer a counterpoint, though. Oh, it was a question. The very end of the show, after that, the closing number, is there a world where you feel that joy and togetherness on stage with the ensemble if it's not through song?
I would like to explore different avenues of portraying these characters without song. I don't know if that answers your question satisfactorily.
It's fair, though.
But
It's funny because we were literally just talking about this.
Oh, really?
But if you do it without music, it leaves it takes out the surrealism of it, I guess, exploring it. So therefore, it almost makes it. I mean, he had a big backlash when he first wrote it because people thought he was praising these people.
Yeah.
Of course.
And if you take the
'Cause-
music out of it,
yeah.
you take away the stupid of it, or not the stupid, but you know the
silly,
the
satire.
Yeah.
Because it's almost like there's these very serious things, but let's put it to music.
Because
Yeah.
you have the one song, the Zingara song, where it is a man is getting executed, but then you have these other people who are on vacation and talking about how wonderful their vacation
Right.
is, and thank God
Oh,
we're
I
here,
saved
and
the
now I've saved the president.
president.
Yeah,
yeah.
just opposed against the execution.
And I also have to applaud you for attempting it because Seinham is a bitch.
Oh my God, yes.
I don't like musicals, and they did amazing.
Because we've done his early stuff, which is more Roger Hammerstein, who, like funny thing happened on the way to the forum is much more sing-songy. But his later stuff, I try and explain it to people. It's like, if you don't know the music, you won't get the music. I said, because you can sing along with it in the car all you want to. But Sondheim, and I believe he said this in an interview, he believes the voice is an instrument. And sort of like where Roger Hammerstein, the piano carries the melody. He doesn't do that.
Oh my
The
God, no,
voice
he
has
does
to
not.
carry the melody. So if you don't know your stuff, you get lost in that music.
So true. Yeah.
It's very, from what I understand, because I also don't really like musicals, strangely enough. Like Dan said, that's kind of weird for an artistic director. And I'm
Sure
like,
is.
No, it's not.
Thank you.
Not at all.
But we were just.
It's not that I'm not tolerant of musicals. There's just you know what one of my favorite
I'm
musicals.
musical intolerant.
Sound real
He
defensive.
says he doesn't love musicals, but he watched every minute of The Sound of Music and didn't hate it.
Didn't hate it. Let me tell you. Let me give
That's
you.
actually really impressive.
All right, let me give you my quick
Wait,
take.
our
What?
Sound of Music?
No.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, you didn't have to say it like that.
No, that
Dan
wasn't
was
a,
in it, you know.
Was it? Never mind. We're talking about the movie,
Oh, okay.
and I had never
Sure,
seen
sure,
it
sure,
before.
sure,
It's the
sure.
first time I saw it.
Christopher Plummer is
Yes,
fantastic.
Let me tell you my Sound of Music take. This could have been the greatest movie ever
Oh boy.
if one little change.
No singing.
No, I'm fine with the singing. It's fine. Whatever.
More Nazis?
No, hold on.
Less children.
Do you know the scene in Sound? Do you know the scene in Sound of Music where they're trying to sneak out? It's near the end of the movie.
Sure.
They're pushing the car along, and then they just get out of the gate, and then not to catch them. Right.
Right.
Here's what they should have done. If you really want to go hardcore, right then, instead of the just getting caught and then made to do this little concert or whatever, then mow them all down. Right when they get the lights come on, and then sorry. Did you get?
You did.
Did you catch some shrapnel?
I did. For those of you following along, Matt just spit on me a whole bunch.
I think it would be great if they were all machine gunned down. I know why you couldn't do that. No one could ever do that in this
Well,
world, but I
also
thought it would
'cause
be great.
It's based on a true story, and that's not what happened.
Okay,
So-
they change
so
things
you
all the
wanted-
time in
Fog
Hollywood.
of War, Larry.
wanted
Fog of War.
them-
We're not sure what happened. We'll
You
never
wanted
know.
them to Inglorious Bastards, The Sound of Music.
I did.
Arrivederci.
I did. Just mow them down.
Yeah, I love the song by the Bear Jew in the middle of it.
Like the Bear Jew song. Yeah, it's really good.
That's a good one. It's very danceable.
What is
They,
with
they
today?
do a nice
Inglorious
waltz
Bastards,
to that
yeah.
song.
Come up like
No,
3 times.
the I know exactly what you mean. Like, because we were talking about, they asked me why I didn't really like musicals, and I was telling them that for me, I would much rather watch like a thoughtful like piece that's like Assassins without the music, I think would be a really super cool kind of fantasy show. And where that part at the end where they're all talking, like is he talking to their ghosts?
Yeah.
Are they time travelers?
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe. Whatever.
We'll see.
But like that kind of like that's why I was able to get behind the show really. As much as I was, because I was like, all right, the show's pretty good. It's pretty cool.
Anything else that we want to talk about Ivories before we head it out? This will be an interesting podcast to edit. I'm glad I have the extra time. I'm going to have to get creative. Because I get it. You guys don't want to reveal spoilers, and which happens a lot.
Also, it really is a show that's very hard to explain in a concise, clear manner what happens without just basically me telling you, like, this is how it starts, this is what happens, and then it goes to this, and then this happens, without me basically just giving you a giant full, like a book report, a full synopsis of the show.
Right.
And I wouldn't mind people coming in being prepared for it, but at the same time, I like the idea of people coming in not really knowing what's going to happen. So hopefully some of the things that we've cooked up will be surprises and pleasant surprises at that.
Well, good on you for even doing this play, because it sounds like it. We need more stage horror. We need more stage horror.
We need more stage horror.
All right. Thank you, Michelle. Thank you, Dan.
Thank you.
Thank you, Justin, and thank you, Larry, for being here today. Thank you, Mita, for being here on a Saturday.
Yeah, thank you guys for having us.
I really appreciate it. She comes here and sets up all the mics and does all the work, and that's really what keeps this podcast going. So thank you, Mita. Get your tickets for Angel Street. Last 2 weekends in May, going into June 1st. It's going to have 5 shows. It's going to be Friday and Saturday and Sunday. That Sunday is always a matinee. That's 3 o'clock, and they always fill up, so go ahead and call 919-934-1873 and reserve for Angel Street. And we wish you hearty break legs on your opening weekend going into it. This podcast will be up on your opening night. And best of luck with your new season, Larry.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
I hear someone will be directing their first show.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Good.
I mean, I can tell you if you're not going to put this out until
I'm putting it out on Friday.
The 26th.
Yeah.
Well, that's fine. I can tell you what. If you
all right.
Do you want to know what the new season is?
I would love to know what the new season is.
The new season is all Neil Simon. No, I'm kidding.
Okay.
We have actually had people suggest that.
Of course you have. We haven't. So we're going to open the season with Heathers, the musical. Our holiday show is A Christmas Story. Not the musical, just the straight play, but it is based on the classic movie where you'll shoot your eye out and the tongue on the frozen telephone pole thing. The whole bit. Then we will be showing Misery, based on the classic Stephen King novel. Our 4th show of the season is a new work called The Prince. It is actually written by a transgender playwright who lives in England, and it is a Shakespearean phantasmagoria about people finding out they are in a Shakespearean type play and their efforts to break out of that. And we will be closing the season with Little Shop of Horrors.
Wow.
Yes.
Quite the season for you guys.
Yes. We are going all blockbusters this season.
we are too. For our 50th season.
Yeah, man. You got to pull out all the stops. You got stops, you got to pull them out.
So in your infinite wisdom as artistic director, you somehow found it would be appropriate for a man who has never even seen the movie A Christmas Story to direct A Christmas Story.
Okay, well, I'll tell you my rationale. I don't want to do it. No, I'm kidding. Honestly, in a lot of ways, I feel like it's better having not seen the movie because he doesn't have any preconceived ideas.
I've only seen one clip, and that's the Chinese restaurant, and that's not in the play.
And
But
that's
I'm
not in the
writing,
play.
but I'm writing it in, so it's gonna be in there, guys.
No.
Don't worry.
We're
gonna do it tastefully. I promise, tastefully.
No.
It's in there.
Do you still want to do it or not? We're not adding anything.
No, but I can totally see that. It would be. It's nice to have fresh eyes on
Yeah.
it because if you've seen the movie
You've
every
seen-
freaking year for 24 hours on Christmas Day,
Yeah.
then yes, you
Yeah.
get sucked into that the way
I've
it's
never,
And I
I've
don't
never
want.
seen the movie.
I don't want. He asked me. He was like, "Should I watch the movie?" I was like, "No,
No, I
don't.
won't. I will not watch it.
I want you to. I want this to be. That's what I like about.
So there's gonna be
having new-
blood and the
Yes.
BB guns.
Oh,
just,
yeah,
you know,
hopefully.
when
Yeah,
he-
yeah,
when he
yeah.
goes
No,
to
no.
get
When you like
the robbers.
during the tongue scene, it's just gonna be like
It's gonna rip right off. Yeah, it's gonna be like Saw.
everybody's gonna be like, ow!
No, we're in talks actually with a child who only has one eye, and he's gonna let me just shoot him in the face.
Yeah. No, that's not true.
I'm sure that would have to involve a lot of paperwork.
Yeah. Well, if the kid signs the waiver.
Hey, sign the waiver.
If you
all right?
sign the waiver,
Do you want to be a star or not?
That's
I will tell you what
art is pain.
our response to that is always our insurance won't cover that.
Yeah.
There you go.
Insurance.
Insurance?
Mine is always. Hey, you sign the waiver. if you get hurt, that's not on me. Watch where you're going.
No, in all seriousness, I'm very excited and I'm terrified. It's a big cast and there's
It is a big
kids.
cast. There are children. That's the other
Yeah.
reason that I know he's good with children
Yeah.
because he has a child. So I would assume he's good with at
We
least
just
that
seem
one.
surprised at that comment.
No, it's like he's kept it alive. So.
Yes, his
Yes.
child is still alive.
Better.
I think
than
Jessica
me.
has more. I think Jessica has more to do with that than him. But you know,
Okay, I was there. 6 years of just me on that kid. So
All right, gang. We're going to close it out there. Congratulations. Break a leg, all those things. And I can't wait to see the show. All
thank
right.
you so much.
All right.
Thank you, Matt.
For Neuse Little Theater, I am Matt Gore. That's my producer, Mita.
So
We'll talk to you later.
Support local theater.
Absolutely.
Bye.
Bye. Credits for the show. Your host and creator is Matt Gore. That's me. My producer and editor is Mita Toole.
that's me.
Music is by Cody Walker. Please go look up Cody on Cody Walker Music on YouTube, and he's also on Cody Walker Music on Facebook as well. He's local, so and he's got a couple of albums out. You know, easy listening John Denver type of guitar voice. That Cody Walker. All right, thanks for listening. We'll talk to you later. Bye bye.